What's good, everyone? This is Y and Z, simply a conversation between the generations. I represent the Y, aka Millennial, Jay Clark. That young whippersnapper over there is the Z, Xavier Lewis. My brother, how are you this week?
Man, I'm doing quite amazing. How about yourself, man?
Oh, adulting is real. There's just
It's
always
always something.
I saw somebody put it out there. I saw a tweet the other day or X, whatever you want to call it, that somebody was just like, what's somebody asked, what's the one thing about adulting that nobody just really tells you about? And they're just like, it's the onslaught of decision making, whether it be from what I'm going to eat today to a life
How
changing
much gas to put in the car so you can
gas,
do I want to put this? Do I want to get a full tank of gas and not have dinner? Or do I want to split the gas and have dinner, but it won't be good dinner? It'll just be cheap dinner.
Thankfully, I'm not in that stage of life no more. I remember those days. I remember those days.
Ah,
Where no matter what the price of gas was, $20. That was it. So whether it was $2, 250, 150, no matter what price the gas was, $20 was what was going in the car. And that was my limit
bruh,
for that
that's
week.
the thing. I miss what that might have felt like because that's not what it's feeling like nowadays.
Oh yeah, it's. I mean that only got me half, like that was half a tank, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little less, depending
Yeah,
on.
20, right. $20 used to be about half a tank.
Yeah, but yeah. So, whew. Anyways, we're gonna get to it. We're gonna talk about life, and let's go ahead and we're not doing takes, so we got a couple things lined up today. We're just gonna hit a couple things, but
Yeah.
first, let's get into some of this real news out here. How do you feel about these politicians coming after the lifeblood of your generation? Of course, talking about TikTok, trying to get it banned.
First of all,
How are y'all
the
doing?
lifeblood of my
I
generation
mean, yes,
is
yes. TikTok.
Snapchat, but Facebook killed it.
Okay, I'll give you.
Vine and Snapchat was our lifeblood. Now, Gen Alpha, their lifeblood most definitely is TikTok. I don't know what they're going to do without TikTok. But the way I feel about it is, I think people need to wake up and smell the roses. America is not going to allow something that they cannot profit on to be such a strong social media superpower. I think that's just what it is and how it's going to fold down. I think a lot of times we often forget that TikTok is it's not an American housed company. So with that being said, I think when people get that knowledge in their head that the United States of America is let's be real, the United States of America is a big bully. And we're not going to allow, especially if something is doing as good as it is, it's not going to, nah.
And it's not just that it's doing as good as it is. Like I've been, there's a lot of stuff out there about this, and
Oh, yeah.
a lot of people are simply like they're trying to bet. Like it's not that simple. Like it really is some national security type stuff. Because I was reading somebody's paper, and they're like, all these apps are literally data farming, like Facebook, Instagram.
That's what they fail to realize, like how much
Yeah,
information that we're signing. When we read through them little privacy agreements and all of that, what we're not reading.
or even what it's gathering based off how you use it. My point of bringing that up
Right.
was this paper brought up. They're like they're all doing this, but the rate at which TikTok is able to do it and how much it is gathering is far exceeding anybody else. Like they
Exponential.
are clearly able to farm more information than anybody else.
Exponential. And so I think that's where that's going. But then that also, I mean, goes to the point. Then you say, well, just because, and it's all like I said, it's only because they're not they're not obligated by the United States government to share what they're getting.
Yeah, and it's China. Like China is
Hey,
that one.
that's the whole thing right there. They're like, yeah, we getting some from your people, and we ain't even gonna share it with you.
So how you gonna feel if it goes away? Like I said, I know you tried to push it off on the Gen Alpha, but no, let's be real. This is y'all's like that's y'all's app.
I'm
How,
gonna
how
be serious. Like, I think how I'm gonna feel personally is I think it will, like, on a personal level, I think I'm gonna be like, man, it's gone. What's next? Only because that's just been the culture of my whole life. Vine went away, and we were just like, okay, what's next?
true.
You don't really get a whole lot of time to mourn things in this generation because there's always something coming up next. And I kid you not, I don't know what kind of favoritism Facebook and the meta has, but it's like, okay, they've already set up themselves to kind of be the next TikTok with the reels. Of course, it isn't as good, but it's gonna be what it's gonna be. They're gonna start taking over the real space.
Yeah, I mean they're the natural turn to. So I want to take a step back from TikTok. I'm just curious, how social media in general, like how does your generation feel about it? It's like mine, we literally grew up on this stuff. Like for
Right.
millennials, it was AI AIM is AOL Instant Messenger first, and then we had MySpace and Black Planet, in middle school and early high school, and then towards the end of our high school, like I remember, it was my senior year. That's when of high school. That's when Facebook came out, and it was the Facebook, and you had to have a college email address to get on it. Uh,
The Facebook
the
is
Facebook,
so geriatric.
and of course,
That's
then that
what old people say. They said, I'm gonna go over here on my phone and get on the Facebook.
So, then college, we had, Twitter came around my senior year of college. Instagram came out shortly after that. And then, of course, it explodes, Snapchat, Vine, and eventually TikTok. But at this point, like I've had it, like I've grown up with it. Like I'm, I wouldn't be mad if it all went away, to be honest with you. It's just,
Like every piece of social media.
it's one of those things that it's such a dual experience. Like we can all agree. Let's get this out the way. We can all agree on some of the benefits. Like it's created
Right.
community. It's allowed people to have access to the world, to see more of the world. It's allowed people to have like people are making careers off of this stuff. People have been found. People have been seen. Like all that stuff. Nobody is disagreeing, but it's the negative stuff which has proved to be like really negative in terms of people say the addiction of it, the false information, the now it's I'm seeing more, I'm trying to keep up with more. It used to be keeping up with the Joneses was the thing, but now I'm seeing more, trying to keep up with like there are a lot of negatives, and it's just kind of like having seen both worlds of pre and post social media, it's kind of like yeah, a lot of these things we long for were destroyed because of social media.
I think I think taking social media away, like if we just took away every form of social media, I think that'll be a little still to the it'll be still too overpowering to news outlets and who runs the general media. I think what social media is providing right now is somewhat of a balance of misinformation and correct information. You just have to use your discernment to cipher through it.
But people are
But
dumb, as we've seen. People are dumb.
yeah, people are dumb because they don't have the right skills to even know when it's fake and when it's real. Like, just stop being.
And that,
I,
and I
I
think that,
was talking about this with my coworker the other day. I was like, I don't know. I had gone on a little rant in the office. I was like, people are dumb. People are dumb. People are dumb.
as a mass, yeah. And I think we've seen a lot of the things that you wish that I judge or that we hear about from your generation,
Right.
like is would I wouldn't say it come back from social, but social media has harmed it. Like social media has literally allowed you and I or whoever to live in your silo. Like it's no longer forced to be
Right.
like, okay, I have to poke my head outside and see what's going on, and we're all ingesting some of the same main highway streams now. So we all have our own personal private roads, and life looks as how we want it to look, just confirming what's either going to make us mad. Like it's all these things that social media, as great as it was and as innovative as it was, has really become such a crazy force. Like, think about this. Social media is in its third decade of real life now at this point.
Right.
Like, what that's like me growing up in the 90s, actively using something that was trending in the 60s.
Ooh.
Like that's what it was. That's what and there wasn't like there was a couple things that you like, maybe some things that had evolved or things that had roots, but literally
Right.
to almost be using like the same type of thing. Like
Right.
yeah, social media has evolved and grown, but it's the same thing. We're all online in these spaces. It's literally we're in its third decade. It started in the 2000s, it lasted through the 2010s, and now we're in the 2020s, almost halfway through. and it's not slowing down in any way, shape, or form. And that to
Nah.
me, that's what's a little crazy. Is it's been the same thing for 3 decades now, which is wild.
And it doesn't seem to be trending in a greatly positive direction, right? Because you think that the more social media is out there, that they will try to find more ways to die down on the, or, kind of prevent the downsides of it. But even then, it's like that will be contradictory to what social media is.
Well, because it's
Social media really, literally is the tearing down of walls.
and it was good at that in its earlier days. Unfortunately, like
Right.
anything else, which we'll get into deeper at a later day, I think is once the money comes in and once businesses and it becomes the commercial side, it's just like, okay, now it's no longer like
Nah.
anybody will tell you the early days of this stuff was fun. Like Twitter used to be fun. Like there were nights where it was like yeah, we got to be like live tweeting something, a show or an awards. Like that stuff used to be fun. But then all of a sudden it starts to become real commercial. Business is getting involved, and it's all about okay, I have to limit your reach so that I
And
can have the reach, or this business can have the reach, and people pay. Like, and it becomes so convoluted. It's kind of like and that's the biggest problem. It's no longer fun anymore. Like it's just not
not really. Well,
as a
don't get me
whole.
wrong, it's fun in certain aspects now.
There's
It,
incidents of fun.
right, but overall, it's just like sometimes it's more exhausting than anything else.
Yeah.
It's like, I need a break from social media. I'm ingesting too much of it.
Yeah.
It's just like you know what I'm saying? Where it used to be your go-to for like, let me have a little fun. Let me go to social media.
Yeah.
It's most definitely not that anymore.
I think that's a good place to leave it because yeah, this
Oh,
we'll
we
see
could
what
go
happens.
there. We
We'll see
could
what
go there for a while.
happens. It's Y and Z, the divide conversation between generations. Jay Clark, Xavier Lewis, like, share, subscribe. Because what we're doing is talking about the differences and the similarities and where we align, and we're about to have some fun because it is March. And
Mark,
March Madness is about to kick off. In fact, when this releases, the real first day of the tournament will be in action. Hopefully, my Howard Bison do something on Tuesday and make it to the tournament because we're recording before then. So we'll see. Hopefully, to get by UNC in the first round. But hey, we'll see what happens. But anyways, since it is March Madness, I want to have a little fun with this whippersnapper here, and we're gonna have us a little tourney bracket of our own. Not necessarily the eliminate and see who's the best here, but I thought let's each come up with in the genres of R&B and hip hop our 12-man rosters in terms of
got
albums
to.
for our eras. And so I'm
Got
defining our eras as high school through college. So for me, that is 2001 to 2010. Now, some of y'all doing some math, they're like, that's nine, that don't make sense. I transferred after my freshman year, so I had a 5-year college career because I transferred after my freshman year. So that's why it's 01 to 2010 for me. What's your era? So just so I know what we're
Mine will be 2016 till 2022.
Oh, okay, interesting. I
Yeah,
want to run it
yeah.
down for you. We
That's
got
why I said I think I got a lineup for you, bro.
okay. So let's go first because I think I'm about to wipe the floor with this whippersnapper. Let's start with hip hop first. I think let's get that one out the way because we're both more passionate about R&B.
Most
So
definitely.
let's go ahead and hip hop. What is your starting
I don't
five?
know. I need yours first. You because you're gonna be them earlier years. I gotta get yours first.
Okay, all right. So my hip hop starting five, and we're going albums here. My starting five is Nelly with Nellyville, Lil
Mm,
Wayne with the Carter Three,
mm.
50 Cent, Get Rich or Die Trying,
Oh,
Kanye West, College Dropout, and then Jay-Z, The Black Album. That's my starting five. What's your starting five for hip hop in your era?
I see where you're trying to get me to do, and I see where you're trying to get me to go. Starting five. Damn, Kendrick Lamar.
Oh, okay.
Scorpion by Drake. Great album. Views by Drake. Great album.
Got a repeat on there. Okay.
Oh, gotta do Drake. Drake ruled 2016 to 2022, but that's another conversation for another day. But there's nobody touching him right now.
Okay.
Invasion of Privacy by Cardi B, and I'll tell you why later.
Okay.
Well, no, let me tell you why now. Cardi, she paved the way for modern day. Now, don't get me wrong, Nicki did it. Nicki did it. Nicki was throughout your college time period. But what Cardi B did, she jumped it to another level, and she was like, okay, I might not be the queen, but I'm at least the princess. And we wouldn't have been getting the Megs, we wouldn't be getting what we get nowadays if Cardi B wasn't that filler in between.
Okay, okay. And I believe you owe me one more for the five.
Five. I want to switch it up a little bit. I want to put an oddball in my number five, and I want to do it because it was so controversial. Should I do it? Say yes or no. Just tell me yes or no, or should I do it?
Yes, do it, do it, do it.
Jesus is King by Kanye West. Nobody expected Kanye to put out a gospel album. It was literally, there's a whole thing behind that.
Okay, let's flush this out a little bit. Now let's see what the benches are looking like. It's not a bad five, but it's not like oh, I'm sweating five. All right, so my bench. Now we going 6 through 12.
Got
I
you.
got Outcast, Speaker Box, Love Below.
Okay.
T.I.'s King, Jeezy, The Recession. And I know a lot of thought might want to put Thug Motivation 101 on there, but The Recession was a banger, and especially the election of Barack Obama. Like that's just a moment.
Right.
Ludacris, Word of Mouth, Lil Jon, Crunk Juice, Lupe Fiasco with Food and Liquor, and then rounding out the bench is Drake with So Far Gone. Yeah, yeah. Early Drake, mixtape Drake. When Drake was fresh, bringing something new. So my full 12: Nelly, Nellyville, Lil Wayne, Carter 3, 50 Cent, Get Rich or Die Trying, Kanye West, College Dropout, Jay-Z, Black Album, Outkast, Speaker Locks, Love Below, T.I. King, Jeezy, The Recession, Luda, Word of Mouth, Lil Jon, Crunk Juice, Drake, So Far Gone, and Food and Liquor, Lupe Fiasco. But that's a solid 12.
That's a I'm
Variety
not
of
mad at 12.
Sonics, you got variety of regions, you got variety, like it's giving you a little bit of everything there.
Okay.
And those are all major like kings of the time. So yeah.
Yeah. I'm not even gonna hold you on there.
Flush yours out.
So the rest of mine, I got God Did, DJ Khaled. Really enjoyed that album. Heroes and Villains, Metro Boomin. Really enjoyed that album. I got Mr. Morale
Okay, that's good.
and the Big Steppers.
Okay, that's a good.
Kendrick is on my list. I love Kendrick, man. He put
Twice.
out some
He's done
fire
it
stuff.
twice. He's pulling
Right.
double. Okay.
Future by Future in 2017. Great album.
Okay.
Baby on Baby by Da Baby. The baby is fire, bro. The baby is fire. Just allow yourself to think the baby is fire. The baby, he's fire. And so hold up. Let me count. Let me count. Let me see how many I got. That was
I think that's
that
10.
was 10. That was 10, right? So I got two more. Oh, I put out some extras. So these are kind of like my honorable mentions, if I'm being honest. And I need to pick. 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 It's gonna be a little off the wall. I'm gonna put Sugar by Meg The Stallion. Because Meg has really like these past since 2020, 2019, she's made she's pretty kind of established herself.
Okay.
And then I'll also throw in there, because we love our female artists as well. I'm gonna put Lotto 777. Lotto has really grown and developed and put her time in throughout these years too. And so like I'm putting it also with the culture of my college and high school too. So
Okay.
I think that's my starting lineup. It may be a little all over the place when it comes to rap, but R&B is gonna be heavy hitting for you.
Okay. So yeah, let us know whose roster you think is winning this. Because
We don't want to hear it. Let's just be honest. We know without a shadow of a doubt, rap was a whole lot better through 01, 010. Let's just get that out of the
you
way.
throw it in the towel. It's okay. But still, let us know. Comment below which list you prefer. And then also comment what you are. If you're a Y, you're a Z, or if you're an X or whatever. So just so we know where you're coming from. But yeah, let's move to the good stuff.
Yeah.
R&B. Um, I struggled with this. I'm not gonna lie. I struggled putting together my 12 for this just because I put together a list. I was like, let me just get a bunch and then narrow it down. My original list set was like 45. And I was like, oh crap, how am I gonna do this? And so by the way, like this is for fun. We're not
Yeah, yeah,
necessarily
yeah.
using chart metric. Like it's whatever you define it to be.
Right.
Do you want to take the first stab at your roster at this one?
Almost definitely.
Oh, okay, bring it. Give me your starting
Coming
five
in at the coming
R&B.
in at the one man. We got An Evening with Silk Sonic 2021.
Solid. Okay, okay. Solid.
Bam.
Solid.
Coming in at the two man. Oh, what do I want to put right here? I'm gonna switch it up a little bit. Paul by PJ Morton 2019. A banger.
Okay. Okay.
Number three. I gotta put her in there because she the queen. Lemonade, Beyonce 2016. Changed the freaking game. If
Okay.
you go look at R&B albums that happened in 2016, Beyonce was on a completely different time than the rest of them. Because you
Okay.
got to think 2016 is also the year that Solange released Cranes in the Sky. So you had a whole lot of people going into the more of this neo soul, and Beyonce was like, not
Okay.
me.
Okay.
And she's a little raw, she raw. That's number three. Number four, we're gonna do Shea Butter Baby, Ari Lennox 2019. Right?
Okay.
Right?
Okay. You got some taste.
Number five, gotta put it in there. Hotels by Jasmine Sullivan, 2021.
Okay, that's a solid five. That's a
Yeah.
solid starting five. Um, Let me just say you're lucky that I had to start in '01. Like there were some that came
Oh, yeah. Man, when you said 01 through 10, I was like, praise Jesus,
I was like,
praise
there were some that I was
Jesus.
like, oh, that's like I couldn't do Jill Scott. Who is Jill Scott? I couldn't do
Ooh.
music stage. So, but anyway, here's my starting five. Do I even need to say it? I'm gonna let you guess who my one and two are.
No, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing
Coming
it.
out the gate, superstars. Usher with Confessions, Mariah Carey, Emancipation of Mimi. That's LeBron and Jordan on the court at the same time, or Jordan and Kobe on the court. Like that's
Oh
a
my
1-2.
God.
That's a 1-2.
It's a 1-2.
That's a
It's a
1-2.
it's a vicious 1-2.
It's a nasty 1-2. Um, Coming in at my small forward, my three spot. I'm going Jasmine with Fearless.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. She's like that.
yeah. Coming in at the four. Where do I want to go? Okay, I'll coming in at the four. I'll go Jamie Foxx, Unpredictable.
Ooh.
Yeah,
I think that's a spicy number four.
and then coming at the five. You always need a white boy on the squad just because you never know what they're gonna bring. Future Love Sex Sounds by Justin Timberlake. So the starting five is Usher Confession, Riot Emancipation, Fearless Jasmine, Jamie with Unpredictable, Justin Timberlake, Future Love Sex Sounds. Right. Out the gate.
I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that at all.
All right, now take me through the depth. Who you
All
got?
right,
What's the bench looking like?
so the bench is gonna be Trip by Janae Aiko, 2017. Really, really good music on that album. Saunders Son by Brent Fayez, 2017. Good album. Her 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 self-entitled album in
Okay.
2017 was really good. 2017 was just a really good year. I'm just say that. I picked a lot out of 2017.
Okay.
Control by SZA, 2017. Amazing.
Okay.
I mean, okay, it's not amazing, but it's a solid
It's
album for
solid.
me.
Solid.
But I will put this. This is one of my favorite albums of all time. So this is my sixth man if I had to put one, and that's going to be American Team by Khalid in 2017. He's a very, very good artist to me. I love his vibe. Very
Like some of his stuff.
simplistic,
Some of his stuff.
very minimalistic.
Okay.
I had to throw this in there because I was just like, might as well. And that's gonna be The Kids Are All Right
Going
by
on. Okay.
Allie in 2018.
Okay.
Yeah, they were pretty good. And then a more recent one is gonna be Age, Sex, Location by Ari Lennox, 2022.
Okay. So another repeat, right? Already.
Yeah, yeah. Ari is in there twice. Cause I think
That's a
I still
respect.
listen to both of those albums.
That's a respectable squad. I still washing the floor with you, but I'm not over there like that's a bunch of bums. That's a
Right. It's not gonna be a blowout.
right. You might, yeah. You
We
go,
we down by like 15. We down by 15.
yeah. All right. So here's the bench, and yeah. So off first man off the bench, day 26 with day 26. Raheem Devon, Love Behind the Melody. Jay Holiday, Back of My Lack. I'm going Aaliyah with Aaliyah. That's the Red album. Like that is literally outside of what people say vocally Brandy's Full Moon is. Aaliyah is like the blueprint for what a lot of people are trying to do in R&B, especially the girlies trying to do today. Um,
That's that's actually very true. That's very true.
I've got Corinne Bailey Ray, Like a Star. That's a hidden one. Bringing in some,
That's a slept on banger of an album.
yes, sir. And then for 11 and 12, I got, because I love female voices and I had to go some grown woman energy here. This Is Who I Am by Heather Headley.
Mm.
A solid album.
Right,
And
right.
then closing it out, John Legend would Get Lifted. Like that's another cheat code. Another cheat code. Um, yeah. So just to recap, my 12 R&B is Usher Confessions, Mariah Carey with Emancipation of Mimi, Jasmine Sullivan, Fearless, Jamie Foxx, Unpredictable, Justin Timberlake, Future Love, Sex Sounds. Then we go day 26, Love Behind the Melody, Raheem Devon, Back of My Lack, Jay Holiday, Aaliyah with Aaliyah, John Legend, Get Lifted, Heather Headley, This Is Who I Am, and Corinne Bailey Ray, Like a Star. You gonna put up a fight, but you gonna lose.
And I'm gonna tell you what's gonna in that like a star, that's what's gonna be kind of like that hidden off the
Yeah.
bench. It's gonna be just crazy. That's what it's gonna be.
They're gonna come in off the bench, roll minutes, and it's gonna be like, oh wait, you a role player. What are you bringing here? Like you're not supposed to be dropping 20 off the bench. That's 20
Nah,
like
that was fun. That was fun.
let's
That was
let us
I hate that I
once again.
couldn't touch.
Down
I
the
hate that I
thoughts.
couldn't
Why is
touch. I
let us
hate that I couldn't touch 2011 through 2015.
see I thought there was going I had you at like 2013 starting. So I was like, okay, I know there's gonna be some of this. But ooh, yeah, you had to start way later. So
If I could have thrown in there, I mean, of course, I should have put in there, but we're gonna give us some more time. Don't get me wrong. Hours and hours, like Money Long has had some hits so far, but just a whole album,
yeah, we'll see.
it's coming. It's coming.
And that
Um,
was part of my struggle too. Was like there were so many. It was like, okay, I like these singles, I like that song, but the album Death wasn't there. Like I was
right, right.
like, yep, it had strong singles, but then also some solid album cuts. You want to hear some folk who I left off the list? I had 45, just a couple. Neo's In My Own Words. I had
Oh,
Robin Thicke's Evolution. I had to leave off
yeah.
in A minor. I left off Epiphany by T-Pain. I left off all the Trey Songz stuff. I probably would have gone with Ready as an album. I left off Charlie Wilson's comeback, Charlie last name Wilson. That was a and then lastly, because he set things off for me in college, I had to leave off Dream, Love versus Money. Like that was an era right there in our like, whew.
And like I could have easily went if I would have had that 2011 to 2015. I could have thrown in that Chris Brown. Chris Brown was taking names, taking
I
names.
left off exclusive. I thought about it. I thought,
Yeah,
but yeah, I did.
Breezy was doing what he was supposed to do. But nah, that's what we do over here, y'all. That was fun. I don't know if y'all into March Madness or maybe you are, maybe you aren't. But when you put it in the music perspectives, you'll be able to see. You'll be able to see.
Your R&B was a stronger squad than I was expecting. I'm not gonna lie. Your hip hop, no, we coming in there,
Bruh,
coming in there
I'm gonna
92
be
Dream Team
heavy
style. Like
during that.
it's not even a game.
Kendrick
Like,
and Drake gonna have to carry the game.
and they're not gonna be able
Kendrick,
to.
Drake, and Cardi gonna carry the game.
They're not gonna be able to. Like, because the minute they get tired, you gotta go to the bench. They looking at it like I said, we got 92 all-star team depth in my hip
Yeah,
hop list. But we'll put
yeah.
this up. Like I said, once again, comment, like, share, subscribe below.
Let us know.
You know, give us your argument. If you want to give us a 12 and either or your starting roster, please do so and let us know. This is Y and Z. At the back end of the show, we come to some things we like to call recommendations, trying to put each other onto something.
Yeah.
Young blood, what you got for me this week? And I kind of already know where this might be going, probably.
Man, I gotta put you on Quiet on Set. So they got a documentary out right now. I don't even know if you watched it yet. Got a documentary out right now about Nickelodeon. And you a 90s kid. And you probably had a great appreciation for what Nickelodeon was in the 90s and coming up like that, you know what I'm saying? Disney Channel Nickelodeon, those your two paramount
Facts,
kids television.
facts, and Nickelodeon more than Disney because Disney was a premium add-on as we.
Right, right. It wasn't until Disney started getting like Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, Hannah Montana, that it started hitting strides.
Right, right.
But Nickelodeon was
The
up there.
was no up there. It's the one or two, and it's not the two.
Right. And that was Nickelodeon. And it starts to talk about Jesus. And that's why I say, I guess the NDAs are up, the non-disclosure agreements are up, and they are talking. The employees, the child actors, they talking.
So I watched it, and I completely forgot it was coming because I saw the trailer when it dropped a couple months ago, and it was like, oh, but they didn't quite give you the full direction of where they were going.
No,
And
no, no. And that was a big thing, right? It was like when they dropped it, they gave you just a little enough and they let you forget about it.
yeah, 4 episodes over the past 2 nights. So we're recording this on Tuesday, and it aired 2 parts on Sunday, 2 parts on Monday. I was well done. Okay, no. So first of all, let me make this disclosure on behalf of me and my brother here. Is this documentary dealing with some serious subjects?
Very serious.
We are going to take the discussion serious, not intending to make any jokes. We're not seeking to make any jokes. There might be some natural jokes that pop up, but let's all we gonna have a grown discussion real quick. Well done, Doc. It
Yeah.
almost felt like two documentaries in one, though.
Most
That's
definitely because you had one focused on Dan.
and then the part,
The other folk,
yeah.
right.
And I understand why they did that in telling the whole story, but well done. I was worried for a second about my childhood because Nickelodeon is was the network, and it was such a cultural revolution in America and the world for what it was, but it was also so black. And we'll have a discussion about that another like it was part of this whole urban movement and it was black low key without just saying it's black. But discussion for another time, focusing on the film. And so I was worried. I was like, I don't know what area they're going in. And so it seems like they're really starting with all that, which
Yeah.
is
Which is
90.
basically like that, like the Saturday Night Live
Yeah.
for children.
So they start with that because, like you said, it's really there's a focus on Dan Snyder and how much of a just being blunt piece of shit he is. Um, Even though he's like this renaissance man of preteen television because he became the Nickelodeon Golden Boy. And so it was like I wasn't sure what all they were going to be talking about. So it was like, okay, cool. You start with all that, and you really move into the Amanda Bynes show, and then you really get into some of the later stuff. So I was like, okay, it's really heavy on your era or what was around because by the early 2000s, I'm kind of Nick isn't my thing anymore. I'm in high school.
Right, right, right.
But man,
I'm gonna tell you what threw me for a loop. End of episode 2,
when they
they're
make
like,
the pitch,
they're like, yeah, there's a child actor. When they're talking about Brian Peck,
yeah,
there's a child actor who came forth. And the documentary was so well put together because they had not, even in the documentary, they left it for that specific moment.
yep.
And seeing that it was Drake Bell, I was just like, whoa.
Because usually in these circumstances,
It's never the top
it's not the
stars,
man.
right?
And Drake Bell in that era of Nick was the man. He's probably he's easily one of the most successful Nick kid stars. He's easy top 10 of Nick kid stars. And for it to be him And for this to really be the first time he's telling his like it was, I was like, oh. And I'm not gonna lie, that portion of the story hit me hard.
And you know what really got me? It was like, so you're telling me all of this was before Drake and Josh? Like
Leading
the
up to it, yeah,
whole
yeah.
because he said all yeah, because
Drake and Josh
they didn't
premiered
start
right
filming for the
after.
pilot of Drake and Josh until after
Yeah,
everything had come out.
yeah.
And I'm just in my head, like, so you're telling me the person, the professional 15, 16-year-old that's having to compartmentalize this stuff is who I'm watching on Drake and Josh?
What got me about that story was because generally when you're talking about the downfall of child stars, because what was crazy was we all like at this point in history, early 2000s, you're aware of child star issues. Like you had the child stars from the 70s, the 80s, like it's well and into the 90s, it's documented. So it's not like, oh,
Right.
we don't know what happens. So for it to happen with that knowledge is one kind of crazy. Two, what you generally hear blamed about a lot of these situations is a horrible relationship with the parents, or the parents just left them there, all this kind of stuff. That was not the case
Right.
with him. His dad was very much so involved in his career, and I'm not gonna. It broke my heart
To see his dad cry. Oh my God.
to realize, because as a father, it broke my heart because here you have a father who recognizes this the shit ain't right
Right.
before things are happening,
Right.
trying to do his best to prevent things from happening, and is unable to do so and loses the relationship with his son as part of kicking off things. Bruh, I was just like, because I'm sitting here as a father right now, like, yo, I'm trying to do my best and protect my child, and I couldn't. And I couldn't. I failed. And not because I didn't try or wasn't like I was sitting here like, yo, that oh
It,
that
it
that
was
that what
it
that fucked me up.
was it was wild out of proportion to see how Brian Peck just played this little intricate web with this teenager.
Predator. Predator to
I
the
mean, it was thought
highest
out.
extent.
It was methodical. It was planned.
The way he broke it down to it's just like, oh, like and oh yeah. Yeah.
And
Oh,
like you said, I mean, at that age, you don't really think anything of it. This is literally a coworker. You're not even thinking of, oh, this is an adult, I'm a kid. You're just like, oh, this is a coworker. And him taking advantage of that it's ridiculous.
I want to transition off something you said real quick with the whole not thinking anything of it. Because one of the things that was definitely harkened in the story was how Schneider would put these very adult concepts and things in these shows, and not in like a hint, like a very much like it's kind of hint, wink,
In
wink
your face.
in your face, but not like. And they were bringing up some examples, and I'm sitting here trying to rack my brain now. I was like, I don't, as a kid, that never jumped out at me. Like they like, so it makes me curious. I want to go back and watch some like other earlier episodes of all that and see other things that was like, wait, huh?
I'm
Because
gonna
they
say
definitely
this.
showed examples of later shows and things of that nature. It's like, okay, yeah, I'm sitting here like, yeah, that's messed up. But I really can't remember some things jumping out at me like that. But again, like you said, as a kid, I wouldn't think nothing of it.
Right. And I'm gonna say this. When I was growing up and I'm watching iCarly and I'm watching Victorious and I'm watching these shows that he produced, oh yeah, it was in your like I understood at that age. I was like, how are they getting away with telling these jokes?
Different era though, too, also, I think. But like I
Right,
said,
right,
I
right.
also think it may be because I don't think they did it as much in them early. Because I said I
You
never,
got to think about his career, right? Because
yeah,
by the time he got to the later stuff, he's really untouchable.
he's
So it's
the
like,
he's
who's
the
gonna
man.
tell
Yeah,
him?
yeah, yeah.
But with the earlier stuff, it was a little more subtle in that sense of it's there, but I can't really have it there. And then him even talk about how it happened on Zoe, what was it? Zoe 101, the first time he kind of did like the comp shot. It's kind of like, bruh, what?
Yeah, it's a lot because I also hope because unfortunately now if I do go back and watch some older stuff, I'm gonna be looking for it, right?
Right.
And I'm not sitting here worried that's gonna taint my experience. This isn't oh my God, I can't enjoy all that.
Right, 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 right.
Like I'm not gonna play some R. Kelly and enjoy that. Like I'm not playing R. Kelly. I can't play some R. Kelly and not be like, yo, no, this is messed up. Like,
Right.
but I'm not worried about that happening with this necessarily. One because it didn't seem to touch the earlier days. It's mostly like we said, when Amanda Bynes really kind of comes on the scene, is you get the idea that's when things really started running. But oh yeah, that was
I mean, even the getting the massages by the
the man was
female
wild.
children.
The man was wild. Like because and it's funny, like it's like I recognize that name popping up on all these shows. It's like, yep, you always see it.
Yeah, I mean,
That
like we're
man
like,
was wild.
who in the world is Dan Schneider? His name is on these shows that we love so much with Nickelodeon.
Oh,
And
yeah.
you know what's even crazier? Then you know how they were talking about with Brian Peck, the fact that he only served like 16 months or something like that, and the people who wrote letters on his behalf when they in the documentary when they started calling off who the people were, I was like, "Whoa,
There were
what?
there were there were
Whoa.
there were two names that really jumped out at me like, oh, I might be having to listen to one of their more recent episodes of their podcast to see if they bring this up because they brought up two
Because
names.
they don't bring responses. They're going to have
I
responses."
mean, the prototype response was already given in the documentary. The one I forget who it was, the one chick who wrote a letter
Yeah,
on,
yeah, yeah. I see you talking about saying that she
yeah,
didn't know what
which
she
they
was
were
writing
saying was
about.
misinformation, which I very believe is very much so possible.
Right.
I'm just curious to hear from two of those things mentioned. 'Cause I'm like, oh, ooh, um,
And crazy enough, I most definitely remember the episode because you remember they said how Disney hired him as an actor. And I most definitely remember the episode of Sweet Life of Zack and Cody that he was on.
well, it's funny. It's like I've seen pictures of him before and whatnot, but I was like always seen the name. But then I was like, oh, he would make appearances on all kinds of stuff. Like he was in Good Burger. He would make appearances on all that sometimes. So I was like, oh, that's who that is. Oh, okay. Okay.
Wild, bro.
Yeah, that's so yeah, Quiet on Set. It's essentially a documentary about how do you want to sum it up?
I don't I
Because I don't just want to say it's the dangers that befell young people working in Hollywood. Because it's
because
more
it's not just about the
uh,
children.
right. Because
I
that was
don't
wild. That was wild. Sorry, I gotta take it back. Early that first episode, it was a lot of adults.
two ladies.
It was a lot of
Oh,
adults who were like who in real time, like this ain't adding up. But they're succumbing to the whole like this is my job. I'm trying to start my
and
career.
this is the only way for me to really get a foot in the door.
Right. Like
Splitting a salary.
that struggle. Splitting a salary. Yeah, that the 90s were wild, boy. 90s were wild. But yeah, Quiet on Set. I'm gonna echo my brother's recommendation. Check that out. It's not an easy watch necessarily. Thankfully it's not too graphic, which is crazy because he can't even you
Drake couldn't even talk about it.
couldn't even, he was talking about it, but couldn't ooh,
Bro,
check it
Drake
out.
said, imagine the worst form of sexual assault you could think of. And that's
Right, right.
he
And
said that.
I was just
I
like,
had to pause and I was just like, whoa.
what struck me was, and I don't want this to come out wrong, but I feel like this is the first time I've seen him as a man.
No, seriously,
Especially being a
I
little
haven't seen
older
much
in
of
those shows. It's always like, yeah, that's the young actor. And even some of his movies, he still comes off as a little young. I'm
right.
sitting here watching this like, yo, this man is going through it. And I was like, oh, oh yeah. You can tell it caught up with him. And he's like, he's been working on it, but you can tell just it's caught up with him.
Yeah.
And it's yeah, that was like I said, I understand why very well put together. I understand the two stories they were telling, his and Dan Schneider's, and how it fits in. It's all this one thing. But yeah,
That big culture that And I almost kind of like how it wasn't like a Nickelodeon thing, but more like this Dan Schneider Kingdom kind of
Yeah,
thing.
very much so. Yeah, very much so. Like it was very much. Even though Nick probably takes the blame as they were kind of hitting that a little later, but it's very much so. It's not a Nick thing yet. It's which was oh my heart. I was like, okay, cool. Do not.
Yeah, they would have came for the whole network.
Childhood, yeah, because
That would have been a 10 episode long docuseries.
yeah, that'd be a whew. But anyways, yeah, check that out.
Gotta check it out.
My recommendation for you, another historical thing, because history nerd here a little bit. Like I said, if I was in a previous life, I was Indiana Jones, or I'd want to be when I grow up. Um, there's a show airing right now on History Channel. It's Search for Missing U-Boats, World War II. Apparently, it's dealing with this treasure hunter and diver because Germany, anything it came across that wasn't locked down, it jacked. And like I said, I don't know what the number is, but they have not recovered most of it. Like there's a lot of it still out there that people that they have no idea where. And so apparently when Germany knew it was losing the war, it converted took the weapons off of all of its submarines, put a little missile thing on top and used all that extra space to put all these stolen treasures in and hoard them out. And so nobody knows where they went. But they believe it happened in South America, or this guy's searching around like the Dominican Republic. He's got this map, and it's pretty interesting because it's one of those things where it's like it's in depth in these things of history, these grand ideas, but these stories that you don't know about or haven't heard about, or it makes things tangible. Like they're diving for treasure and finding old Nazi stuff, and if based off how we probably learned about it in school, nobody ever got close to us outside of Pearl Harbor in World War II. And apparently that wasn't the case. Like the Germany had subs sailing up and down the East Coast, and it's wild.
That's
So
crazy.
as
Tell
a
you.
fellow history nerd, yeah.
Yeah, man, we gotta get into that. I mean, I'm telling you, finding stuff like that is what's gonna change history. Because we gotta remember the winners write history, not the losers. And so once we start diving into what the losers had recorded,
Mm-hmm. And it ties into a whole nother series that I like because apparently there's this whole concept that people don't know. People think Hitler possibly escaped and didn't actually kill himself,
I'm one of
because the Russian the red the conspiracy theorists of course because the Red Army came in and essentially burned his bodies and nobody's ever been able to like actually confirm it was Hitler. So
right.
this show takes upon the premise of okay, what if Hitler escaped and got out? How would he have done it? Where would he have gone? And essentially, they found a legit trail that leads to South America. And essentially, what they find is whether Hitler had gotten there or not, essentially, there was plans being made and put into motion for the Nazis to try and establish a Third Reich and to do so starting from South America. And so it's
Okay.
just, I love, once again, history. I love shows like this. Is like, oh, wow, crazy. And then it's not just an idea or a concept. They're finding
Back.
documents, they're finding bases, they're finding like, eyewitnesses, because you still got people alive from, there's a
Right.
few of them, but they still around. And so it's wild aspects of history. Love it. But yeah, so check out World War II Lost U-Boats. I think 3 episodes are out, maybe 4 now. It's on the History Channel. Yeah, man.
Yeah. Whew.
Ooh, got heavy there at the end.
Yeah, man. How do we go from March Madness to man, just I know where we start. We started with what? TikTok,
yeah,
March Madness.
it's what we do here. It's Y and Z. We talk about what is happening and relevant in the culture or in today. So it could be sports, could be music, could be something like we try to make it timely and topical and finding our different generational viewpoints on life and where Gen Z is so messed up and millennials, we kind of seem to have it together as well as we can in this economy. Anyways, like, share, subscribe, just messing with y'all. Follow us, J Clark 787, the real Xavier Lewis. Brother, till next time.
The next time, y'all have a good night. Have a great day.
Peace.